It's all about Starmer on the BBC homepage today. Live news is that he's apologising to Epstein victims for appointing Mandelson and believing his lies. Unbelievable. You know what's funniest about this? In the 90s and the 90s, when Mandelson was at the peak of his fame, he was universally known by all of the ordinary citizens of the UK as the Prince of Darkness, because he looked like a vampire and all he did was lie. Proper devious, sneaky, slithering, Machiavellian creature that he was. And everyone in Hartlepool knew what he was up to. So the question here is, do you believe the compulsive liar Keir Starmer when he says he didn't know any of this? And you can ignore all of the information that's come out about him. We'll get to that shortly. You can just ask yourself a simple question, to see if it passes the common sense sniff test. And that's this. Would a bloke universally referred to as the Prince of Darkness actually be honest with you? Right, how you doing? There's loads of good stuff on this live stream today. Loads of commie gibberish that I'm happily going to walk you through. But it's a crazy state of affairs. This rat bag will cling on like a limpet. He's completely shameless. Doesn't care what happens. Just remember, Boris Johnson, the fat albino jellyfish, he was pretty shameless, the horrible gash rat that he is. But even he had the wherewithal to walk off the job when the public was outraged about him. And all he did was have a bit of cake during lockdown. You know, same thing that Beth Rigby and all them Sky News journalists did, Kay Burley, those oxygen thieves. So it wasn't that bad by comparison, was it? Starmer, on the other hand, he refuses to go. The androgynous android. If it's not rent boys kicking his back doors in, it's compulsive, degenerate liars kicking his front door in. And by that front door, I mean Downing Street. Anyway, just some of the stuff that's come out today. Starmer has apologised to the Epstein victims and said he's sorry for having believed Mandelson's lies. But we know from the leaks that Starmer was told by the intelligence services before he appointed him that Mandelson was best pals with Epstein and he was going to his house after Epstein had already been charged and found guilty of being a diddler and trafficking children after it. So that you just have to ask yourself, is this acceptable behaviour? It's one thing to plead ignorance before the fact, but if the bloke you go to the pub with every Saturday to watch the match gets charged and convicted and everybody knows he's a kiddie fiddler, would you go to the boozer with him on a Saturday? Would you? I mean, it's that simple, because that's what happened. He said he understands the anger and frustration of Labour MPs. He understands it, but he's still not going to quit, because he's got the neck of 1,000 giraffes. Unreal. He then cries about Mandelson lying during the vetting process. The security services told you what he was. Everybody in the country knew what he was in 1998. So what, are you just getting a memo now? Talk to any plumber or bricklayer in Hartlepool and bring up Mandy's name and they go, ugh, creature. The man is a parasite. And who knows what he's been getting up to? Who knows? We merely thought he was a sexual deviant, but it sounds like it's a lot worse than what even we thought after some of these revelations. The Epstein leaks are unbelievable. I'm not going to make a separate video about them because they've been covered at great length by everybody else. And frankly, after watching some of other people's YouTube videos on the subject, I don't want to have to bleach my eyeballs and do it myself. It is Labour MPs who will determine Starmer's fate. Yeah, they're decent, honest people, aren't they? Dan Norris, he's a good fella, isn't he? Why don't we ask his opinion? Oh yeah, I forgot thousands of people have been calling for him to resign his seat. Still hasn't done it. Imagine that. And he's been done for numerous surprise sex incidents. An absolute deviant. I'll tell you what's funny about that. He's the Somerset MP. They finally got rid of Jacob Rees-Mogg, and the guy they put in his place is a full-blown diddler. Can you believe that? I bet they'd love to see Jacob back in his chair, wouldn't they? If your choice is the posh bloke you don't really like or a full-blown diddler, who would you go for? I think even the Greens would choose Jacob Rees-Mogg over this oxygen thief, wouldn't they? So Dan was a bad choice. What about John Slinger MP? He's quite good, isn't he? Labour must rally behind the Prime Minister as he gets on with the job of governing our country. He has acted with integrity throughout. Yeah, integrity. Even when he was rogering a twink and the twink set his house on fire afterwards. Yeah, loads of integrity. Never tells lies. When he was taking suits and jewels off a Puma tracky millionaire and putting his son up in his £10 million house. Integrity, yeah. Taking bribes is integrity if you're a Labour MP. Makes loads of sense. Anyway, I'll drop that on him. If that's true, Axel Rudu Kanubu should be knighted for services to children. Please get me some of the drugs you were on, John. It must be good shit. And Kemi's weighed in, even though she's completely useless as well, and said, it's a question of when, not if, Starmer goes. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Because the man is a sloshing portaloo of a human being, he's not going to go. Not in the short term. It's going to take another couple of scandals, I think. I guarantee he doesn't go by the end of this week. That man will not go. You'll have to physically drag him out of there. And when he does eventually go, because he's not going to last more than a fortnight without something else coming up. All he does is lie. When he does eventually go, this is the best bit. Labour being Labour, because the members have to pick the leader. They won't pick anyone who's even remotely normal in the brain, right? Someone like Rayner, at least, is popular with the general public. But she's got too much scandal behind her, so they can't pick her. Old Shabzy Mahmood.
Some of it was fun.
She's almost sensible by modern Labour standards, which means they won't pick her, will they? She's been given, pretty stern rhetoric on immigration and criminality and stuff. So they won't pick her. She's too white wing for the average wet lefty in the Labour Party these days. So who do you think they're going to pick? I reckon it's going to be Redhead. Yeah, Uncle Fester with a wig on, which is fantastic news for us because he is completely brain dead. But nobody else is left wing enough for the people that make up the Labour Party's members. So they're going to go back to the drawing board and install the bloke that couldn't win last time when he wasn't up against a particularly good candidate. Do you remember when he had his big stone tablet? Yeah, there it is. I think that's propping open the shithouse door in Labour's HQ at this point. What do you think they did with that? Smashed it up and turned it into someone's drive. Even The Guardian was whinging about it. Look, Ed Miliband's carved pledges could sink like a stone. No shit, John. Anyway, so that's where we're at. You're probably going to have to endure Starmer for a bit longer because the man is totally shameless. He will cling on for dear life because he is a rat. Lower than a rattlesnake's ball sack, lower than a midget limbo dancer, whatever you want to pick, whatever analogy. It's unbelievable. And when he does go, you're going to get Redhead. So it's good news for the right because I love taking the piss out of Ed Miliband. But that's just what I'm thinking. You reckon somebody else is going to take the helm or Starmer's going to be there in 5 years' time? Please let me know in the comments down below. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.